Hi everyone, I'm Miss Charlotte and I'm a teen librarian here at Lindenhurst Memorial Library. Today we're going to be painting a Misty Forest watercolor painting, just like this. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so to start off, you're going to need your flat brush, your pointy brush, your black paint, a cup of water, a paper plate for a palette, and a paper towel. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to make your background, and it's going to be a misty kind of light background. So what you're going to do is you're going to lightly wet your paintbrush, and then you're going to take just a little dip in the black paint and kind of make a little spread like this, just ever so lightly. And then you're gonna kind of paint your background, and you're gonna add a little more water. We're gonna make it really light. Now you can coat the entire back. You can make the whole page a background. Create a whole scene with the whole page. Or you can create a shape, or if you have painter's tape at home, you can create a nice neat border. But I'm going to create kind of like a circular scene. Okay, so once you have this, you're kind of going to want to take your pointy brush, and we're going to be doing something called the wet on wet technique. And also you're going to know that you have enough paint and moisture on the background of your paper, because you're going to be able to see a light sheen, and you'll see it. It's going to look just enough moisture. You're going to have just enough moisture. Okay, so you're going to take your pointy brush, and you're going to wet your brush, and you're going to take just a little bit of more paint, and you're going to make a tree kind of like this, and add a little more. And it does not have to be perfect. And be careful when you're adding paint, because it's going to spread if you add a lot of paint. So you want to make your lines thin. If you add too much paint and you press too hard, it's going to blow up. So you're just going to put gentle marks, thin marks. So this is going to be our background. It's going to be the trees in the mist. And you can make them all different sizes. Now these are going to fade out. And you're going to start at the top. You're going to make just a little zigzag, and they don't have to look like real trees, because they're just going to blow out. They're going to get bigger at the bottom. You can go back. These are going to be our trees in the mist. So we're just going to quickly go through and just make zigzags, just like this. And go through, and you can make them any length you want. You don't have to make them the way I'm making them. You can get creative. We lost the light there for a second. keep going. Go back in. And these do not have to look perfect. Just have fun with them. When you're creating a landscape, you always want to put lighter in the back, and then as you go forward, you want to create darker in the front to create that depth. Okay. You could go in, add a little more. All right. And then you're kind of gonna let it dry. I'm gonna add one more tree. Okay. Okay. So on the bottom here, I'm just going to add a little extra darkness because this is going to be our bottom. And we're going to start to layer. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to let this completely dry, and you can speed up the process by blow drying it, but you can let it dry also. Okay, so we're going to let that dry. Okay, so after it's completely dry, we kind of have like a hint of trees in the background. So the next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to kind of add some more trees, and we're going to layer it. And we're going to kind of go back and forth. Not so much of a zigzag this time, but we're going to kind of make it more random, and we're going to layer it more. So instead of like going back and forth like a zigzag, you're going to add like a line here and then a line there, and we're going to go back and forth. So we're going to go in like this, and it's going to get wider and bigger at the bottom, like a tree. Okay. So I'm just going to go back into this side, do the same thing. And add more. Doesn't have to be perfect. No trees are perfect, and no two trees are the same, obviously. You just keep adding. And then I'm going to gradually make them shorter and shorter, but you don't have to do that. So I'm just making like random brush strokes, and they're going through. Just a straight line down. And you can see the way that in the background, the ones in the back, they look further away because they're lighter. And you can go back in and kind of add more detail. I'm gonna add one more. One more little one. And then leave it like that. And you can do however many you want. That's the beauty of art. You can do whatever you like. So now I'm going to let that dry. And then we're going to add another layer of trees. Okay, so now that that's completely dry, we're going to create our foreground. So we're going to take our paintbrush and we're going to dab it in the black. And this is going to be a little bit darker, higher pigmentation. So we're just going to dab it. Take a little bit of water, but not much. And we're going to take it and create our foreground. Don't worry, it's definitely going to need to be dark. So don't be intimidated. We're just gonna quickly go over this area. Blend it with water. Okay. Gonna want to make it look like a valley of some sort. So it's not going to look perfectly flat or a perfect line. So you're just going to make kind of a couple of bumps on the bottom here. Or at least I'm going to. You can do whatever you want. I need a little bit of more paint. And remember, you don't want to add too much water because this is really where your pigment is coming in. So you're going to try to make it as dark as possible. I'm going to try to create crisp, dark lines, outline, make that bumpy ground look, while offering and adding on a lot of paint onto the paper. Not a lot of water this time. So I'm just taking the paint and I'm in the paintbrush and I'm just putting the paintbrush right into the paint. And just putting it through, quickly gliding it across. And So we have something that resembles a ground. Okay. And it doesn't really have to look like this. It could be whatever you want it to be. Just gonna clean this up right here. Add a little more water on the edges to kind of smooth it out, create kind of a faded effect. You don't have to do that, but it's kind of something that I want to do. And again, you're using your pointed brush, not your flat brush. Okay, so we have our ground. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our paint. I'm just going to add a little more. And again, we're going to take our flat brush, our paint, add just a tiny bit of water. And we're going to start with our trees. And we're going to go over and we're going to make crisp lines. So these aren't going to be as faded. So we want to make these as neat as possible. So at the top, instead of making lines back and forth, we're kind of going to do like zigzags while pressing down on the brush. So I'm going to show you that. So kind of like messy but clean at the same time. So it's still going to be like a shadow. Basically, like that. So again, you're kind of just pushing on the brush and you're kind of making like more random strokes, adding like a little bit of more water to get that clean . Look. But you're still adding like a lot of pigment. The colors are going to be a little bit darker. So you're going to go around. I like to put the tallest trees on the outside. And if you notice, like, see how it's kind of like not filled in? Like you can see like little open spots. You can add more water so that it spreads easier. That just means you don't have enough water. And it's just kind of a natural movement with your brush. And I'm gonna try to make it look kind of messy, because like the shadows are never really perfect, like when you see a tree. And you can go back and darken it, go into certain spots. Okay, let's keep going here. And if you have a shaky hand, like I do, you can put your pinky out to level it. Sometimes that helps. I need a little more paint. Just add a little tiny bit of water. And you're going to go through. So yeah, I'm kind of creating a little bit of a valley effect, but you can again make all of your trees all different lengths. You don't have to make your trees bigger on the outside and then smaller on the inside. You can create all types of shapes. So yeah, just going in, kind of making the zigzag while pressing down on my brush. But not too much of a zigzag. Oh, we lost the light again. So could go in. Yeah, and you know, you can kind of create your own little valley like I did. And then what I kind of wanted to do was go back, create everything make everything a little bit darker. Perfect some parts of it that I didn't like originally. And again, it does not have to be perfect. And you can create more depth here. And add a little more. Get a little more dark, add a little more paint. Okay, so you can always go back and create a few more trees in the mist if you want. You can add more dark trees if you want. It's really up to you. You can create darker trees. You can add more water. You can experiment a little bit. But this is kind of just to get you going and, you know, see a beginner's paint tutorial. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys liked it. If you guys are interested, you can sign up for our other programs coming up. We have glass bottle pumpkins, upcycled Halloween piñatas, a pumpkin paint along, and you can sign up for all of those programs in person, online, or over the phone. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you next time. Bye guys.